this trailer came with no window in the door, and we want to let more light into the trailer. We have a front window in the front and the side one, but that's it. And on the other side, there's more windows. So we bought this kit here. It's AP Products Thin Shade, and it's got tinted glass with a built-in shade. So it looks like that. And then I'll flip this box around. It has a cutout template here. So I'll be able to lay it out where I want it on the door, right up here. These doors are built with a frame, and usually this area is open for a window, and actually the whole inside of it is usually open with just a foam insulation in there, a rigid foam insulation. So I've checked with the stud finder, and I can't find anything in here to cut that I'll be cutting through metal. So it's just insulation. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the door off. And there's actually 3 hinges here. I'll just take it off and take it in the garage and put it on sawhorses. And then I'll be able to lay it flat while I lay it out and cut it. So I'll show you inside here. That's good. So this is what it kind of looks like right now. And then you'll be able to see after I cut the window in, and you'll be able to see what it looks like. So this is what it looks like in here right now. And this should let quite a bit more light in here. So let's go ahead and get this door removed and get started. So if you stick with me through this video, you'll see the window installed like this. As you can see, it turned out real well. Didn't take too long, and it was fairly easy to do. So if you like this video, want to see more, hit the subscribe and the bell icon, and I'd appreciate it if you could do a thumbs up or thumbs down. Leave comments if you like. I like to read comments and reply to people. If they have questions, I try and help people out as much as I can. And take a look at my other videos. You might find some of those helpful to you too. So thanks for watching, and let's get on with the video. Before I remove the door, I want to figure out exactly where I want to put this. And I've kind of figured it out, rather than just measuring on the outside and putting in guessing where I want to put it here. I came inside and looked here, and I see right here the screen. If I center it in the center of this screen, it'll be ideal right here, rather than try and figure it out outside. So what I've done is I've put a piece of tape, you can see right there, to mark it there on the door, and I've done one up on the top. So if I open the door, you can see here the tape on the top and bottom. So I'll measure from here to here, and I'll center it this way, and then from side to side I'll measure from the frame there to the frame there and center it in here. So it'll be centered with the screen, which will be ideal. So it'll be nice and centered on that. So it'll look right that way, and it'll look right on the outside. So let's get removing this door now. So on the 3 hinges here, there's 6 screws per hinge. So I use a Robert's head bit. It's square. Put it in there, and then I'm gonna remove all of them. It'll take 2 people once I get almost all the screws out. 1 person to hold the door, and then 1 person to take the screws out. So I'm gonna go ahead and take these off. Here's the hinges with the door removed. They're just hanging there. So let's go in the garage and look at the door. So we have the door on sawhorses. Here's the box. We'll be cutting out this template here to use to to mark for the cutout in the door. And we got the door laying down here with the outside facing down, and we have towels here so the door doesn't get scratched. So I'm gonna lay this out and come back to you. The template's cut out, so now I'm gonna lay it over here and then center it up, and then we'll mark it out and cut it. So what I did, I took my template and just laid it on top of the piece that's gonna go here. And I noticed here, looking down it, that the white sealant they got here is pretty close to where the cut is. So this template is a little bigger than what it needs to be on both ends. So what I did was I took and the original marking was here on the outside, and I took the template and I slid it over a little bit and I marked here. This side, I just moved it over 1/16 of an inch on this side and on the other side. I just wanted to make sure that this white sealant was able to touch the edge on here to seal. Maybe I didn't need to do this, but I'd rather have it a little tighter, and then I could file it if I want, but I'm pretty positive this is gonna fit in there perfectly. So just make sure you check your measurements. I'll take this template off to show you. So this, you'll see the window here and the edge. So what I did was I measured from this edge to this edge, and then I got that measurement, and then I made sure it was the same measurement from here to here, but a little bigger so it'd slide in place. And the same thing from there to there. From this point, the side, to the other side. So it should fit. And then what I'm doing, I'm using a fine blade. It's a metal blade, and that'll work fine for this. Made sure I use a fine blade instead of a coarse blade. I'm gonna drill a hole here, big enough for the blade to fit in, and then I'm gonna cut around it and have my fingers crossed that there is nothing in there that I'm gonna hit. And I feel really confident that there's nothing there. I'm just gonna show you my locator I have. I just hold the button down, run it across, and then you can see right there, it looks like there's a frame that goes all the way around it. Then I go here, hold the button, go down, and it shows that also. So I've checked the whole area and I don't see anything, no lights going on anywhere in here except for the edges like that. So let's get cutting after I drill the hole. So on the back side of the cut, I decided to put tape on the back side so it won't splinter off. It'll help protect it from splintering. So hopefully that's what happens. So that went well. There's a couple reasons I put the tape on here. I put the tape here so that I can mark on it with felt pen. And if I have to adjust my markings, I can do that without marking up the door itself. Plus two, I don't want to scar up this panel with this saw. So I also take on the plate and I put tape on it, and I put the tape around here so that it'll glide on the tape and won't mar up the surface. So it looks like it all worked. I grabbed a piece here that will slide or just fit in there, and it fits in nice and tight with maybe 1/8 inch play all the way around. So that works well. I'm going to take all the tape off and then I can get the window installed. So I'm debating on whether to install the window while it's hanging up in the door jamb or in the garage here. Hey, one more tip. When you're going around here with your jigsaw, go nice and slow. And then take it real slow on the turns, because if you go fast, your blade might try and go at a slight angle by you pushing it around the turn. So by going slow, it'll be cutting a nice groove here, and then just follow it along. Don't be racing along. You might force the blade to go either way. Then your cut will be at an angle. You don't want that. So go nice and slow, take your time. You want to get it right the first time. So I flipped the door over. I want to show you this nice clean cut it did here on the face of the door. So very important you have a nice sharp fine tooth blade for this. I've decided to put this piece in first. This is the back side of the door. So the piece here without the glass is going to go in here. I'm going to center it up, and I'm going to put tape in here to hold it in place. And I've put the holes here. You can see these weep holes on the bottom of the window, and the shade will be on the top. So I'm going to tape this in place and flip the door over. So I got the tape all on there. It's all centered up, not moving, going anywhere. I'm going to flip this door over. Let's take a look at the instructions for a minute. Here's what they give you. The instructions are pretty good. The removal, if you have existing window you want to take out and replace it with this. And then here, preparing this to put the new window in. So we've cut the hole out, so we're ready to do that. This here is the inside of the frame here. This will be on the outside, so that's why it has sealant on it. So it goes into details here, and then it kind of loses you. This is I put one of these in before in our trailer, and putting the shade in, it's not very clear what to do. So I'm going to try and remember exactly how to do it, but all it does is says this is the top with these little tiny clips here, which there's 5 clips you can see across the top, and you do those, and then you have the shade here. So you look at it going, what in the world? So I'm going to try and put it in and show you how I do it and not confuse you, and it'll be a lot better instructions than what you're seeing here. So let's get this thing in there. So I'm going to do my best here to explain this. Since the instructions don't really show you, I've taken this all apart, the shade, took the rubber band off. This right here on this side is the inside of the trailer, and then this on this side is the outside. So since you're going to slide the shade up and down, this is the handle here to slide the shade up and down. You'll need it on the inside of the trailer. This here will be going right in this groove here where the 5 tabs are. So this is the tricky part. So we're just going to put that in there, and it says it's supposed to snap in place. And before I do that, I want to show you something. You can see right here, that little groove, that's where the string's supposed to go. So you're going to want to make sure that little string is in that groove before you try and snap it in place on both ends. So I got that. I'm pulling on this slightly while holding this. This is the hard part. It's just really, they could have done a better job. It doesn't snap in place. like you would think it would. So I'm going to put it in place. And then I have some electrical tape that I'm just going to put it right here. It's black, so it kind of hides. I put that in place, squeeze, and then put this on just to try and hold it in place. If not, I'll be pulling this way. And then I'm going to hold this while I'm doing this. And I'm going to do this one will go, see these strings are hanging here. I'm just going to set them in that trough. And then here, I'm going to hold this tight while I try and snap it in there and place there. See? So it's trying to pull apart there on this end. I'm going to put a piece of tape here to hold it. This whole thing, they could have come up with a better solution here. So I'm going to do that. Rub the tape so it gets warm. Like that. It's in there. I'm going to go for it. Here's the glass piece, my adhesive around here. And then on this window, you can see, hopefully you can see this mark here. This is on the bottom. So you don't want to, you'll put this towards the bottom of the door, not the top, because it'll be upside down. I'm holding the glass in, and I actually, before I did this, I pushed the glass in place because when you get it, it tries to come out, push the edge so it's into the adhesive. And then I put a little bit of electrical tape to hold it in place. So it's held in place so it doesn't fall out. I'm holding it, and now I'm gonna drop this on it. These screws, the screws will come through here, into the back, into these peg holes here. So you gotta be careful. This adhesive, once it's down, it doesn't really wanna move. So I'm just setting it lightly. And then I'm gonna try and put 4 screws, 1 in each corner, like this, Phillips head screws. And I'm gonna screw them in 4 corners tight, and then I'll come back to you. So I've got all the screws in on the bottom side, which is the inside of the door. These screws with the Phillips screwdriver. I have 4 extra screws. I guess they give them to you just in case you lose them or something. So I got them all started, and now I'm gonna work my way around tightening them from the bottom until they're snug, and then I'm gonna flip the door over to snug them up the rest of the way. So I ended up just snugging 2 on each corner, and now I'm gonna flip it over. Now that I've flipped it over, I'm gonna go ahead and go around and tighten the screws in a clockwise motion until everything is snug tight. All screws are tight. I went around 5 times, doing maybe a turn each time. Turn them down, and you can feel it when they're snug. You don't want to over tighten it or you'll strip it. You don't want to use a screw gun because it could strip them out. You can't feel it with the screw gun like you can with the screwdriver. So I've done them all. They're snugged up. I'm going to show you. I'm going to flip this over. And then you'll be able to look around here and you'll see it's all snug, tight along here. So the glue that's in here is all squished in tight, watertight. So I'm going to flip this back over, and then I'll be removing all the tape. But I'll show you how this slides. You just grab here, slide it down. In the beginning it's stiff. And what I did, you can see it in my other video where I installed one where there was an existing window. It was a frosted window, and then I replaced it with this, where it was stiff. And what I did was I took some silicone spray and put it on a rag, and then I rubbed it into this string here for the shade. I rubbed it in there and then it made it so it slid up and down easily. So that's what I'm going to do right now. So I'm going to try and find some silicone spray and put it on there. So unfortunately, I can't find the silicone spray. So I'm going to have to do that on a later date. But it slides up and down. I want to show you something. A lot of people, I see a lot of people doing this. And I was going to do this, but I'm glad I didn't. We camp in some humid areas, sometimes by the coast, or different areas where we get condensation on the windows. A lot of you maybe have done that, where you camped in the morning, there's condensation on the windows. Well, with this shut, we've gotten condensation on this window, and these are weep holes here. This is the inside of the door, so that if any water goes here on the window, it settles down in here, and then it can weep out of these holes. Some people are mounting it so that the shade goes up, and then the weep holes are on the top. But then what happens, moisture can get in down here on the bottom and has nowhere to go. So that's the reason the weep holes are there. So just something to watch if you've installed your shade upside down, to watch for moisture. The reason people do the upside down sometimes is they want to be able to just slide the shade up so that people can't see in, and then they can have light coming in the top and they can see out. But with these dark windows during the day, you can't see inside of them unless it's at night. So, and then you'd have them shut. So right now it's evening here, so I'm going to put the door on, and then tomorrow I'll be doing that in the dark. And then tomorrow what I'll do is I'll show you what the door looks like installed. So it's the next day. We got a little bit of rain last night here, and you can see the windows installed. It turned out very nice. Let's go over here and take a look. So when it's up sealed tight and you got the screws all tight, you have a nice clean joint there. It's all sealed off. And then here's what I was talking about with the little label for the tempered glass, to have it down here so it's upright instead of in the top upside down. Yeah, so looks good out here. Let's go inside and see how it looks in there. So remember before we had this is all blacked out and there was just this window. Now it's a lot more open, lets more light in. Let me go ahead and shut the shade. I want to show you something here when I go to shut it. Some people say that it's a pain to shut the shade because you need to open this, you push the lever down, and then you slide this down like that. So for me, it's not a big deal. They make another one, another company, where it has a handle that comes down in this area here, and then you're able to slide it back and forth, and it opens some louvers up that look like kind of like jail bars or something, and the window's still semi-blocked. But I prefer this. It's not that hard to do that. I'm gonna go back inside here and shut the door, and then we'll see what it looks like with the shade closed. So there's what it looks like with it closed. So for me, I like it to be able to just pull the shade open and shut. It's easy to open the door to do that. So like what we do in our trailer is in the morning we open it up, and then at night when we come in we just close it, and so it's closed all night. So all in all, I like how this turned out. So that'll be it for this video. Thanks for watching, everybody. So if you're going to do something like this, just take your time and measure, double check. Put the protective tape on there like I did before you cut so you don't mar up the door. And just take your time. And that putting the shade in won't be so hard now that you've seen this video compared to looking at it on the instructions that they send with it, which aren't very good. So if you're installing a window like this, replacing one of those fogged windows that come with the trailer, it's relatively easy. Some of them that you have in your trailer already that are fogged or existing don't have the screws like this, and there's a special clip that you use to remove them. So you can contact AP Products, and they have a little clips that you tap in there, I guess, to remove the existing window. And I think they supply those for free, so you can contact them if you don't have the screw type, and then they'll send it to you separate or with your new window, and then your new window that you put in will have the screws in it. So thanks for watching, everybody. I appreciate it very much. Hope you have a great time camping, and you subscribe to my channel. I appreciate it. Give me a thumbs up if you like this and video, and hit the subscribe and the bell icon to get notified of future videos. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care and happy camping.